It's time for Person of Interest. This Tuesday, and in studio, we have Philip Kisia. And I would just like to know, welcome to KTN, first of all.
Thank
you. Everyone would like to know, everyone who is asking here would like to know, where were you born? Where did you grow up? When were you born?
Well, I was born many years ago.
Yeah.
To be precise, I was born on 20th January 1963. I was born here in Nairobi, so I'm a Nairobian. I have known no other county other than Nairobi for the last 51 and a half years.
Oh,
wow.
Great.
I was brought up in this city. I was educated here, and I worked here, and I live here, and I'll most likely die in this city.
All right, so what do you make of Nairobi City, for the time that you've lived here, and also you have vied for certain positions in Nairobi County itself? What do you make out of the current Nairobi County?
Well, for me, Nairobi is basically my home. I don't see Nairobi as anything else. I see it as my home. And therefore, it affects me. It affects my family. If it functions well, I'll be a happy person. And I'm sure you too will be very, very happy if Nairobi was functioning properly.
Is it functioning properly?
Well, I'm sure you are a resident of this city.
Yes.
And if it's functioning well, you would know. But I would say that the city is facing challenges like it has faced before. And I'm sure people are expecting better. Whether that has been achieved, it is you and me to say. But I'm sure that those who are currently running the city have done one or two things, but there are many, many things that are yet to be done, and time is running out.
Right. All right, James.
All right. Philip Kisia. Karibu sana.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me, since the last time we saw you, and we find ourselves today in an interesting opportunity or interesting scenario that the seat of Nairobi governor could fall vacant sometime next week.
Well, that is up to the courts to determine. As a matter of fact, I think it is this week. But I'm not eager whether the office falls vacant or not. I think what is important is to have somebody in the office who has a vision for this county. I think that's what really counts. The person on the steering may not really matter so long as he or she has a vision. So I'm praying for my brother Evans that all goes well. But again, if my brother Waititu wins the case, I'm praying for him. They're both my friends. But let us cross the bridge when we get there.
When we get there.
Yeah.
So the question then that everyone would ask, and everyone asked me today when I was hosting and said that you're coming, said, if that seat falls vacant, is Philip Kisia going to offer himself for that position?
James, let me put it this way. I have said before, I don't have to be the governor of Nairobi. But if the people of Nairobi think that I can serve them in whatever capacity, I'll be willing to do that. I have served the city from early 90s, when just across here at Avenue Park, I was the chairman of a welfare association, the Avenue Park Welfare Association. It's a residential association. And we did what we did. We converted that area into a beautiful area, and it still stands up to today. I served as the chairman of Nairobi Central Business District Association. It was voluntary. I was never paid by anybody for 4 years. I served as a board member of Nairobi Interim Oversight Board, which was formed by government but supported by World Bank. So I've been here, and if the people of Nairobi think that Philip Kisia can do a job in whatever capacity, I'd be willing to serve.
All right, and let's get right into it, Mr. Philip Kisia. Two things. You are the former town clerk, arguably the first governor of Nairobi, as it were. So the issues that you're facing today, if it's working, it is you. If it's not, then we should also blame you. Is that correct? Is that a correct place to start? Well,
James, that is your opinion. But I can say that you're right. I was the last chief executive officer of the city of Nairobi, and I only served for a period of 36 months. I laid the foundation because I'd foreseen the challenges that the county was going to face. And if you really cared to look at what we did or what we attempted to do in my 36 months at the council, we dealt with institutional reforms, because for any progress to take place, you need to deal with the institution. And I found a very, very weak institution in all aspects. So we started the journey of reforming the council from within and then move out. Because if you don't have systems, if you don't have functions, if the place cannot even function as an institution, of course, then the customer cannot feel it. So there are areas that we did tackle to ensure that we reformed the council. And some of the things that you're seeing right now, let me point out one. A few weeks ago, my good brother, Dr. Evans Kidero, my good governor, did unleash the city master plan. I want to remind Nairobians that that is a journey I started. I got a grant from, because I'd foreseen, we were operating without a master plan from 1974. And it was critical that we put a master plan in place. And I did that with the help of JICA and the government of Japan. So we gave Nairobi a master plan, which was unveiled by Governor Kidero.
Quite recently?
Very recently.
Yes.
He never gave me credit, but that's how Africans behave anyway. You don't expect them to say that this journey was started by so-and-so. The other area, and you've seen so many counties making an attempt to deal with, is the issue of human resource. I mean, services are delivered by manpower or human resource. And when I took over, we had, it was chaotic. So we had to deal with the issue of human resource. And if you remember, we carried out a comprehensive human resource review, not staff audit. Staff audit is a very small component of HR, but we dealt with the issue comprehensively. And by the time I was leaving, I left everything for my brother to implement. Whether it's implemented or not, that is up to you to...
Question. Before, I'm interested to get to know, as we move on, because there's so many issues that you have to deal, issue by issue and move on. But question is, the first thing that, when the good governor came in and every officer, came in and said, well, city council is a corruption infested den. Things are not moving. In fact, I have to do and, fire a lot of people, and fire a lot of things, because things are not working in this place, Is that the case?
Well, firing people does not even help. What we need to do is to come out with systems. An institution can only thrive when we have systems. So any human being coming in works within a system. And that is what we attempted to do. And I think we have done it very well. And if we'd been given a chance, we'd have done it, we'd have completed the journey. So that is number one, creating systems and structures. Then, of course, now you talk about the issue of human resource. But the other thing, again, if you're dealing with the issue of corruption, the fight against corruption must be institutionalized. You can't say firing people will help. It may help to a certain extent. So what probably should have been done, what we did during our time, we actually institutionalized the fight against corruption. We worked with CASA at that time, and if you look at their 2010 report, City Council of Nairobi was recognized as one of the most collaborative public institutions in fighting corruption. So I created a secretariat. I supported the secretariat with manpower, with money, with machinery, with management information system, and all that it required to fight corruption. So you cannot just fight corruption by firing people. You need those two things.
From where you sit, Philip, and you're someone who you control the system, what is that key problem facing Nairobi today from where you sit? What do you say is the one key challenge, one key that you'd say, had this been sorted out, had we started from here, right now things would be moving on as we thought it would have that 6 months when I was taking over?
You see, I think the lack of prediction. Nobody knows what should be done, when it should be done, how it should be done. Okay? And again, I get back to management and having systems. People are not sure of the level of service delivery because there are no benchmarks. So if those things had been done consistently, then I'm sure that even the customer would have known that the County of Nairobi, this is what I expect from the County of Nairobi. I don't know whether they have a new charter because that forms a basis of telling the customer that this is what you should expect us to do by within this time and how we should do it. So again, we just go back to systems. Create systems, create structures.
Kisia, since you were last in City Hall, and now is the county government of Nairobi, we're paying more on our traffic fees, right? I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, you know, you really get what you pay for. You remember there was a time I was bold enough to tell Nairobians that for you to really receive world-class service, then you needed to pay for it. There's the issue of accountability on the other side, that what you collect needs to be accounted for. But I did bring to the attention of Nairobians that, the inflows, one really could not enable the institution to deliver world-class service. And when my brother took over, the first thing he did was to slam Nairobians with a bill, with an increase of over 100% on parking fee. I remember I proposed 140, and I'd only say 240 was within CBD. All other areas, residential areas, like South B, South C, industrial area, we were going to live at 140. That was the first step. But I think what should have been done is automation. But I'm happy again, I've seen my brother has made an attempt to automate. And again, that's a journey we started, automating of the services. I'm hoping that in the near future, Nairobians will not be paying just a flat fee if you're coming into CBD or other areas that you're supposed to pay parking for. I'm hoping that people pay based on time so that you can get value for your money. There's no point charging somebody 300 bob and yet the person has only come to CBD to transact business for 2 hours. So I'm hoping that that can be done as quickly as possible.
I just have some questions for you that are coming up on air. If you're Nairobi governor today, what is the different thing that you would have done today? If today you're the governor of Nairobi, that's attitude that is coming out from.
One, I think coming up with a very a clear plan that is inclusive. The county government has been there for about a year and a few months, but I've not seen them roll out any plan for the city. And if they have done, then they've done it in darkness, nobody's involved. So the first thing I'll do is to consult Nairobians and to ask them really what type of county they want to have. Now, once that has been agreed, then the job of the governor becomes very easy to implement what the people really want.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing that Nairobians really fail before we go to other issues, residential issues and health issues, and land issues and whatnot. The issue of traffic jams. This city is just a gridlock. What is the problem?
Now, really there are challenges, yes, and Nairobi is not an exception. Most cities in the world have a similar problem, but some of them have made an attempt to deal with the problem. I had suggested that for us to deal with the issue of traffic, we needed to introduce mass bus transport system. But that was not going to be the solution, because even if you introduce high capacity vehicles and you send the same vehicles into the same jam, you are not going to sort out the problem. So I had proposed that the county government and the national government work together to create a public line, a dedicated public line. So if you're moving from Athi River into CBD, so long as you're in a high capacity vehicle, that has been licensed to operate on that particular line, you use that particular line into the city or wherever you're getting into. So that would have made public transport more efficient, more economical in terms of even time and in terms of even money. People would have been paying less fare. But with the current situation, I've seen some proposals being made. They're saying that what they need are high-capacity vehicles. Now, high-capacity vehicles without a dedicated public line would not sort out the problem. The second thing that must be done is to get to license companies, give them routes, and not very many. You can have probably 3 or 4 companies, given different zones to operate from. You can have one green company, one yellow, one red, operating from different directions. Now, that would remove chaos that we currently have, because we have so many vehicles plying into the city. They're very uncoordinated. But again, people have been blaming matatus. If I were the governor today, I would not get matatus out of business. What I'll do, I'll reorganize them so that the high-capacity vehicles are stationed in substations. For example, you can have a substation here at just before Thika or at the river. You have a substation there. So you have this high-capacity vehicle company that has been licensed to operate from there, but the matatus are used as feeder transport. So you don't kick them out of business. These are Kenyans. If you kick them out, where do you expect them to go to? Their families to feed. So that is how we should be dealing with the issue of public transport. The county alone cannot deal with this. And I was hoping that maybe the governors of Kiambu County, the governor of Machakos, and even probably the governor of Nairobi should sit down and come up with a plan to deal with this issue.
They haven't done this, Kisia, and I'm going to just throw this in. Another personal question is, what kind of person do we need to run Nairobi? Do we need a politician? Do we need a technocrat? From where you sit, from what you know, from the challenges, and the things that where we need to go, what kind of person do you think we need?
Nairobi is not a blue chip company. So you need a blend of both. You need half politician and half manager. If you're 100% manager and you don't have some political acumenship, you're born to fail. So you need both, a combination of both. Probably if the governor is a good manager, probably the deputy should be a good politician. So you have 50%.
What are you?
I'm both. And I'm both because, I have worked in private sector. I had the privilege of working in public sector for 7 years. And the public sector is not about the bottom line. It's about service delivery to the people. So you can't report profits. You can't be proud as a man and say, okay, I'm posting so much profit. That's not the aim of government. The aim of government is to serve people and serve them well.
Kisia, do you still have faith in this in this city, the city that you're born in, the city that been 51 and a half years you've been here, the city that you say you're probably going to die? Do you still have faith in this city?
James, I have a lot of faith in Nairobi, and I have a lot of faith in this country.
What makes you have that faith? Just show me the ray of hope.
Kenyans are resilient. And if there's only thing that you cannot take away from Kenyans is hope. That's the only thing you cannot take. You can take away everything. Like we've taken away everything from Nairobians. The cost of living is very high. There's insecurity. They have no jobs. There's takataka everywhere. The transport is still chaotic. Housing is still a problem. Water is still a problem. The road infrastructure is still a problem. But Nairobians still put up a smile.
We're surviving, Kisia. We're surviving in this town.
Well,
we're trying to make it.
You are trying to make it. You can change it. You have an opportunity maybe in a few weeks. If you don't have that opportunity in a few weeks, you will have it in 2017. So you can decide the destiny of this county. You go and vote for somebody without asking questions, without a proper agenda. One thing I came to learn is that all the political parties in this country have no ideology. It is how much money you can cough out, how many people you can bribe. So you don't even need to have an agenda.
You don't need to run an agenda. You just you need money.
You need money. No agenda. And you can see it for yourself. I'm not talking about Nairobi, but you can see it for yourself, really.
Let me ask you, Kisia, in matters politics, you ran for the first time for competitive political office that we know, politically, the last elections. How was that experience for you?
Well, it was a good experience. One thing that I learned is that a political party and leadership is very cornish, extremely cornish, and they don't mean what they say. Yeah? You can have an agreement with somebody now, a few minutes later, the man is stabbing you in the back. Those are the political leaders or leadership that we have in this country. It is bad, it's nasty, it's untidy, it's shameful.
How do you survive? What do you do?
Well, I think Kenyans must change, and they must lead from the front. What I've discovered is that, again, the political leadership is weak. So they wait and see where the wave is heading to, and they jump ahead of the crowd, and they start providing leadership. So Kenyans must make sure that these fellows who hang around, are waiting for the mass to determine the direction and then take over, don't take over. And if they take over, then they must continue driving the steering. But if you leave it upon them, then we'll have the old same story today, tomorrow. Those are the political leaders that we have. It's very untidy.
So do you think, Kisia, that we can look to politics as a way of saying that, we can get some value out of politics in the end? Is it a place that you'd look, having been there, having gone through the motions and the process? Do you think that politics really in the end can sort out our problems?
Politics, as currently defined, no. Because there's no agenda, there's no ideology. I mean, I can tell you, because I'm a friend of both sides, first of all, when I was running the city, if you can remember, not a single chair was thrown. Yet, PNU had almost 50% or 48%. I don't know,
ODM.
It was called ODM that time. Yes. ODM had about 52%. But the way I ran it, because I was not partisan, because I called both sides and said, listen, for us to run the city, I need PNU, I need ODM. Because this city belongs to everybody. It doesn't belong to one side. And I think that's what my brother Evans has attempted to do. Whether he's doing it genuinely or not, but he's made an attempt. You cannot run the city by being partisan. At any given time, you have almost 50% strength, and there are two political parties running the city.
How do you manage the interest between the two different interests?
Remain non-partisan.
But you can't.
You must remain non-partisan.
If you are, say,
must remain non-partisan.
Elected as a court governor, how do you cross the bipartisan line?
You see, once you are fair and you handle issues in a manner that you are clear in your conscience, you do the right thing. It doesn't matter whether your party supports that position or not, so long as that thing will benefit the people of Nairobi. That is what is important. Because at the end of the day, you do something because you want to please your party. Then what happens tomorrow?
So do you think governor today is facing problems because he's trying to cross the bipartisan line?
Well, I have not spoken to him of late. He has not called me for a cup of tea. But I'm sure he's probably facing that a challenge. But I think one needs to remain fairly firm. But as we're being firm, always make sure you're fair. You must be fair to all sides. So long as you're fair and have a clear conscience, nothing else should matter. And I think and I foresaw this coming. The first governors, I foresaw this coming. They were going to have challenges. But most of them thought that, really, I'm going to be one Bwana Mukubwa. I'm going to have it so easy. Now, most of them are now sweating from all corners. They're sweating. And today, if elections were called, I can tell you 80% of them will run away. They will not make a second attempt. Because most of them had not really visualized what the office would look like, the challenges that were going to confront them. But they thought there were going to be some mini presidents.
Little presidents in counties.
Some little county somewhere. They forgot that it was about servant leadership. You are going in, you are seeking office, not so that you can become Bwana Mukubwa. Sometimes I get so depressed when I see our governors fighting for flags and titles. How is a title going to help you? How will a flag help you to serve the people? I mean, having this flag is nice. It's a nice thing, but I don't know whether it will translate into service delivery. So if I was one of them, I would not bother about titles. Neither would I bother about, having flags on my motor vehicle. Serve the people.
Serve the people. Philip Kisia, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to ask you if you miss the days of the mayor, and a town clerk. All right, talking to Philip Kisia, talking about issues of Nairobi devolution, how he sees it from where he sits, everything. You have your questions on Twitter, on texts. You can also call in the next hour and you come back. Don't go too far. You're watching Morning Express.
Taking pride in constructing tomorrow's skylines. Adding strength to Kenya's landmarks. Presenting the power for specialized constructions. Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
Can you know that we love this game? Yeah, we'll never come and feel no shame. This ain't about no money or fame, but we know no pain, no gain. Walking to move by uniform. Beba vuvuzela, India bomb. Twende study, tunataka funga bao. Tunataka funga bao.
Fiber Business offers you the fastest, superior quality internet connection to suit your business needs. For only 15,000 shillings per month, Fiber Business 6 with up to 6 Mbps is designed for small offices of between 11 to 20 users. It is ideal for frequent emailing, moderate web browsing, and light file sharing.
This is Fiber.
Enjoy speeds of up to 100 megabits per second. Fiber, powered by Jamii Telcom.
To get this song and the best dancehall songs, bonyeza *699 *50 hash. Remember to bonyeza *699 *50 hash.
Pick of the day.
Ebu kite. Atinda yangu imedandio.
Atinda yangu bude imeshikwa.
Of course, that is why I'm telling you. Gari ikishikwa nimeshikwa. Mimi nikishikwa gari imeshikwa.
Na unajua nimekuwa nikikutafuta leo kwa ofisi na kupigia simu hutaki kuchukua simu na kwa SMS hata unireply. Alafu unakuja hapa kuniita kandure kitu gani?
Zena, there's somebody who is out there to finish me in Mzalendo. And this is because there's somebody who is not doing his or her own job.
All right, you're watching One Express. Person of interest this Tuesday, 22nd of July, is none other than former town clerk Philip Kisia, who's been offering his thoughts, ideas on where Nairobi is, where problems are, how to fix it, possibly. But Kisia, just before we take the break, I asked you, do you miss the days of mayor and town clerk?
Well, for me, those are just titles. That time, we had a mayor who was a political head, non-executive. Then we had the town clerk who was the chief executive officer. So the two had different mandates. Now we have a governor who is both the political head and the chief executive officer.
Yes.
So the governor combines both. So instead of having two people, we have one person. So for me, there's no difference. I don't see a difference.
Devolution, Kisia. Kenyans, when they went and voted for 2010, this devolution, they had an idea. They thought that we are finally taking power from central and we're devolving or cascading it down to where we can feel it. If I'm in Korogosho, Kariobangi, if my COI is not working, but I can actually call someone and this thing can actually work because it's people that I've put there. Have Kenyans, especially Nairobians, finally felt devolution, effects of devolution, from where you sit?
Well, one, James, it will take some time. Nothing can be constructed in 1 year, particularly when you take into account a public procurement. And some of the governors have never served in public institutions, so they're learning the ropes. Probably we should have given them a transition time, 2-3 years. But I do believe that with time, people see the fruits of devolution if we make the right choices.
What are those choices?
Having into office people who want to serve, not people who want to serve themselves. People who are selfless. It's about serving people. And when you're holding a public office, it's not like running a blue chip company with a bottom line. Because you're serving different people, different interests. There are some who are big like me. There are some who are very small like you. There are some who are very old. Some who are weak. So you have a mixture of these people that you're serving in different interests.
Mm-hmm. And across country, across board, the issues of governors or county assemblies, the other day talking about, MCAs, taking all manner of trips, to Israel to go and see how fishing is done, to South Africa, just to go and, smell fresh air so they can come and tell us. This issue, it's not a very new issue, but our politicians have a way of just getting things out of us, that we put them there, we know they're not the best of people, but somehow they have this 5 years, period that I'll be there and I'll do whatever I want. And then people can decide whether they want me after 5 years or not.
One, I have no problem in people benchmarking, going on benchmarking trips. Because when you go out there, in places where people have succeeded, you come back and implement. My problem is one, that they are not sticking to budgets. And I've already sent my proposal to the Controller and Auditor General. I've not met the control of budgets, but I think we need to be very clear on how much a county can spend on travel, local travel and international travel. It must be very clear. If it's 1% of total budget, it should be 1%. If it's 2%, 2%. Number two, they need to have a travel plan so that people don't just wake up in the morning and say, it's nice going to Rwanda for 2 weeks, or it's nice going to Israel for 3 weeks. It's nice going to the US and so on and so forth, or South Africa. Those trips must be purpose made. And a county should go to a place where value shall be derived. You cannot go to somewhere where there will be no value addition. So if it's a county like maybe Machakos or Turkana, and you made a trip to Israel because Israel operates under very harsh conditions, there's something to learn. But most important of all is when they come back, because they must have very clear objectives. We are going to Israel to study 1, 2, 3. Objective 1, 2, 3. When you come back, you must file a report. It must be documented.
But we're not seeing this report, Philip. But I believe Paul is on the line. Paul, good morning. Good morning, Paul.
Mr. Smart.
Yes, sir. How are you, Paul?
And potential Governor, Mr. Kisia.
Yes, Paul.
Are you a Nairobian first, Paul? Let's establish. Are you a Nairobian?
Yeah, I'm a Nairobian.
Yes.
You see, when I opened my TV and I saw Kisia, he has the demeanor of Kidero, and I was saying, who is this? But I came later to realize it's Kisia. And for you, Smart, I see you are growing a killing beard, and my wife says it is smart. Keep it up. Okay, to the point.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to say, as a Nairobi resident, what I see is that people are denied knowledge. Just like our potential governor has said, people don't know what is being done, what is expected, what is happening, and there's confusion. So Nairobi, or maybe other cities, is about the leaders running around, propagating what they think we as residents want. For example, I live at Kahawes myself, and I saw the other day they put up a Maram Road with a drainage. And in a short while, maybe 2 weeks or so, the stones that made the drainage are pulling off because, people are not taking care of them. And my feeling is that because the people don't know what is happening, they are not involved. They don't seem to take of this development that Mr. Kisia is talking about. So I feel that more money should be put in sensitizing the people on what is being done and what is expected of them, so that what is put up becomes they own it. And so it is easy. You won't have to come back to do this work using more money.